last but not least, Lisa Mount is a banjo player, theater director, and producer, and something of a troublemaker, mostly for good causes. She's lived in Sautee Nacoochee since 1999 and is probably best known as the instigator of Headwaters, the series of community story plays that will come to its conclusion this July in SMCA's historic gymnasium. She also sings with Lilies of the Valley, and once upon a time she toured with the Deluxe Vaudeville Orchestra.
Thank you very much, Courtney, with whom I get to sing in Lilies of the Valley. And Courtney and Jill both are performers in Headwaters, and many other folks in here have been associated with it. But I'm going to start off with a little sugar to the salt of treadle and our end of life. I'm going to come back to an old Appalachian tune that's well, it's just for fun. Well, the preacher went out hunting, it was on one Sunday morning. Knew it's against his religion, but he took him his gun along. Shot himself 3 mighty fine quail and 1 little measly hare, and then on his way returning home, he saw a great big grizzly bear. Well, the bear marched out in the middle of the road, walked up to the preacher, you see. The preacher got so excited, he climbed up a cinnamon tree. Bear, he sat right down on the ground, and the preacher climbed out on a limb. The preacher cast his eyes to the Lord of the skies. These words he said to him. He said, "Ooh, Lordy, didn't you deliver Daniel from the lion's den? Also deliver Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then 3 Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, so the good book do declare. Now, oh Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sake, don't you help that bear." Well, the preacher was up in that tree, I believe it was all night. Said, "Mr. Bear, if you bother me, I'll give you an awful bite." Just about that time, the limb let go, and the preacher came tumbling down. You could see him getting his razor out before he hit the ground. Well, he hit the ground, cut right and left, put up a very game fight. Just then the bear grabbed a hold of him and squeezed him a little too tight. The preacher dropped his razor, and the bear held on with a vim. The preacher cast his eyes to the Lord of the skies. These words he said to him. He said, "Ooh, Lord, didn't you deliver Daniel from the lion's den? Also deliver Jonah from the belly of the whale, and then 3 Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, so the good book do declare. Now, oh Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sake, don't you help that bear." Well, they fought all the way to the river. It was a terrible sight. Bear, he kept hanging on, but the preacher was doing all right. Preacher dragged that beast right down in the water. It was 3 times in and out. And then the bear got up and he limped away, and the preacher began to shout. He said, "Oh, Lordy, didn't you deliver Daniel from the lion's den? Also deliver Jonah from the belly of the whale, amen. And oh, Lord, it may not look like much from way up there, but the hardest thing that I ever done was baptize that bear." To explain the cultural references to our German friends, I'm sure Penny and Mardine will be happy to handle that task. So the last 2 songs that I'm going to do are a little bit in contrast to what you've had previously this evening of authentic and historic Appalachian songs. These are fakes. They were both written to open Headwaters, 2 different performances, and the one I'm going to do next is what will open the show this summer. It's pretty much, well, I guess you'd call it the title song. Did you hear? I've got a story. Let me tell you what I know. We can all share in the memory. Listen here before I go. Listen here before I go. We are not the first to come here. These have long been sacred lands. Cherokee and Creek before by unknown hands. Yet the mountains called us to them, some to farm, to hunt, or mine, some to work the clay of Mossy Creek, making jugs to old moonshine. Did you hear? I've got a story. Let me tell you what I know. We can all share in the memory. Listen here before I go. Listen here before I go. Have you spent time on the rivers? There's a dozen that start here, filled with stories of adventure and sweet water running clear. And there's a legend of Mount Yonah and a prince they called Sautee. It's a myth, don't you believe? It sounds like fairy tales to me. Or perhaps Tristan und Isolde. Mama taught me how to listen, also who to listen to. You can come here and I'll be polite, just don't tell me what to do. Did you hear? I've got a story. Let me tell you what I know. We can all share in the memory. Listen here before I go. Listen here before I go. I needed two banjos to spare you the pain of retuning. You may thank me later. And this song needs two additional singers, so I'd like to invite Courtney and Jill to come and join me. Where'd Courtney go? Oh, right away. There she is. So this song I wrote to open the version of Headwaters that we did in 2009 and 2010, which was called Birth, Death, and Places in Between. And the joy of working on a project this long is that you get really good, sometimes fierce feedback from your collaborators. I will say, these two included. Yes, I will say that the late great Joe Carson, who was the co-author along with Jerry Grillo of all three of our major scripts for this, said this one was better than the last one. You'll notice some similarities because they're both trying to tell us a little bit about this place. Like this place, anywhere around this place, anywhere around this place, anywhere around this place. This must be the place, a place of gentle beauty, where mountains are so old, where the Creek and the Cherokee traded, and white men came for gold and stayed for land that's sold. Ain't no place, anything like this place, anywhere around this place. This must be the place, a place that's rich in water, where we live among the trees. We sell power to those below, as 12 rivers run to the seas. 12 rivers, names are these: Chattooga and Etowah, Toccoa and Saukee, the Broad and the Tallulah, has now returned to green, but greed renews its hunger. What is now has not always been, and who knows what will be. Up to us, what will be. Ain't no place, anything like this place, anywhere around this place, anywhere around this. This must be the place. This must be the place, anything like this place, anywhere around this place, anywhere around this place, anywhere around this place. This must be the place. Preparing fabulous dancing in the gym. But first, as Dee Dee said, you got in here for free. It's going to cost you to get out. So Tommy, if we can have some house lights, the fabulous Dee Dee vote is sending around baskets. Give generously. Give generously twice. Give generously 3 times. Pay more than what you think it was worth. I know that you're doing a really great thing, because it's this place that makes this place a place. Right? Without the Sautee Nacoochee Center, we don't have a post office. Without a post office, we don't have a zip code. Without a zip code, you ain't a place.
Send it that way.